Quartey and members of the student body of Barrett Junior High School, ladies and gentlemen. I need not pause to say how very delighted I am to be here today and to have the opportunity of taking a brief break and
Hello, everyone. It's Tamika D from One Family News. Let's talk. Before we get started, I want to pay tribute to the late and great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by playing one of his speeches that he gave to a bunch of school children called "What is Your Life's Blueprint?"
a pretty busy schedule in the city of Philadelphia. To share with you the students of Barrett Junior High School. And I want to express my personal appreciation to the principal and the administration for inviting me and for giving me the opportunity to see this very fine and enthusiastic group of students here at Barrett. I guess I ought to start out with a commercial, and that is tonight we're going to have a great night in the city of Philadelphia at the Spectrum. Now, I know you've heard of that new impressive structure called the Spectrum, and I know you've heard of Harry Belafonte and Aretha Franklin and Nipsey Russell and Sidney Poitier and all of these other great and outstanding artists. Well, they're going to be here tonight at the Spectrum. And I hope that each of you will go home and tell your parents to be there tonight for this great Freedom Festival. And I hope you will come also, for it will be a great experience. And by coming, you will be supporting the work of the civil rights movement. Now that I've gotten the commercial out of the way, I'll move on and say some things that I want to say very briefly. And I'm being very honest, I'm going to be brief because I have other engagements. I don't have a tradition of being brief all the time. You know, I'm a Baptist preacher, and we can talk a long time. But I'm going to really be brief today. I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. And a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint. Now, each of you is in the process of building the structure of your lives. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one, in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Now that means that you should not be ashamed of your color. You know, it's very unfortunate that in so many instances, our society has placed a stigma on the Negro's color. And you know, there are some Negroes who are ashamed of themselves. Well, don't be ashamed of your color. Don't be ashamed of your biological features. Somehow you must be able to say in your own lives and really believe it, I am black but beautiful. And believe it in your heart. And therefore you need not be lured into purchasing cosmetics advertised to make you lighter. Neither do you need to process your hair to make it appear straight. I have good hair, and it is as good as anybody else's hair in the world. And we got to believe that. Now, in your life's blueprint, be sure that you have that a principle of somebodyness. Secondly, in your life's blueprint, you must have as a basic principle the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. And once you discover what it will be, set out to do it and to do it well. And I say to you, my young friends, that doors are
So hello everyone, we're going to get started here. Inviting in my guest right now. And she's coming in. Her name's Miss Martine. A second, we're going to get her in here. I asked you to, Miss Martine, comment while we get you in on this live. Okay, the invite has went out. And I can see you, sister.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you well. Can you turn your screen for me, please?
Yeah, I thought I did. Let's see.
There we go. I think your phone have to be vertical. It's requesting that you
Okay,
turn it
hold
vertical.
on.
Right there. There you go. There we go. I have you
Okay.
now. I have you now. So, hello everyone, and welcome to One Family News Let's Talk. I have a special guest on today. She's an entrepreneur, a travelpreneur. She's a business owner, and she does all types of stuff. You hear me? And she's going to talk to you all today about what she's doing. She's also going to talk to you about setting goals for your setting financial goals for your business. And without further ado, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to let her jump into it.
Thank you
Go
so
right
much,
ahead.
Mika Dillard. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the invite to your show, the One Family News Let's Talk show. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And welcome my viewers to your show. And I'd like to thank your viewers for tuning in this morning. This is MLK Day, so this is a special treat to be interviewed on the MLK Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I hope everyone gets out and participate in some events out in your community in honor of our King, our Dr. King. All right, my name is Martine Quartey, and I am an entrepreneur, travelpreneur, business owner. I am the creator of our Back to Our Roots tour, Ghana, West Africa, and also the creator of the Entrepreneur Show on my personal or business Facebook page. I help small businesses and entrepreneurs increase their profits with the help of live streaming. I'm also a live streaming coach. I forgot to mention that earlier. So what I'd like to do today is kind of give you a little bit of background about me, about how I help other entrepreneurs, small businesses, and network marketers increase their profits in their business so that they can meet their financial goals and other goals that they have in place. I'd like to again just welcome everyone on my side, my viewers for coming in and joining Mika Dillard and her show, One Family News, Let's Talk. I appreciate you for reaching out to me because we need to do more of this, getting the word out, getting the awareness increased about entrepreneurship, about business, et cetera, et cetera. Welcome everyone that's coming in. We appreciate you. And before I get started, I just want to let your viewers know, Mika, that I do have a gift for everyone. If you stay to the end of the broadcast, I have a gift for you. So don't chime out, okay? All right, cool. So
Did my viewers hear that? Don't time out, because Miss Martine Quartey does have a gift for you if you stay to the end of this broadcast.
Right. Thank you. All right. Hello, Gloria. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Okay, so the first thing that I want to just kind of touch on in regards to starting your own business, or if you're already a budding entrepreneur or small business owner, things that you should take in consideration right off the bat, and that's your mission statement. Okay, a lot of people want to skip this because they're really encouraged to start the business. They want to jump in, they want to start right away, but some things have to be laid down. Your foundation has to be laid out in order for you to be successful in the end, for the long run. So take the time to map out your mission statement. And your mission statement lets you know, or lets other people know, or your customer, potential clients or customers know why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, it should map out why you're doing what you're doing, for whom, and how are you doing it. Okay, so for an example, the reason why I go into business, I'm a live streaming coach. So I'll just take that business because I have a couple of businesses, but so I'll use that one as an example. I'm out here to help entrepreneurs and small businesses increase their profits. That's what I do, with the assistance. So I tell them how, with the assistance of live streaming. And if you guys, while we're on the topic of live streaming, if you are not live streaming, you are leaving money on the table. Okay, because
Can you repeat that one more time?
If you are in business, and I don't care if you're a brick and mortar like I have a brick and mortar, but I'm also online. I have a online business as well. But if you are in business and you are not live streaming, meaning you're getting on one of these platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, there's so many. YouTube is now live streaming. If you're not live streaming, you are leaving money on the table. Periscope, you can get out there, because what you do is the reaching the masses is the way to go, and the fastest way to do that is live streaming. Okay. I was just reading some of the comments. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for joining in. So this is the technology has been 10x for us to 10x our business. And I'm sure you probably seen or heard that 10x floating around, that comment floating around. It is real and it works. I did an experiment, so I can tell you from personal experience, it works. But anyway, what I was talking about is the first thing you want to do is go ahead and figure out what your mission statement is, so that you can let your audience know, your potential customers know, because you never know who's watching. Let them know why you do what you do. Personal stories and journeys on your business trail really it really kind of touches people's heartstrings. People like stories. We're human beings. We like stories, and we can really relate to what you're going through if you can tell us your journey. Don't be afraid to share your journey. So your mission statement should exemplify what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it, so that people are aware. Okay, so I would say that would be the first thing that entrepreneurs and small businesses need to do, is set some time aside to map out what your mission statement is. Okay. Secondly, I just wanted to say that a lot of people get started in business because they want to make money, and that shouldn't be your only goal. And a lot of people, they don't really think about it, and probably not intentionally, but they just want to, the first thing they want to do is make money because they're, putting out a lot of expenses to get started. But you should really think about something beyond making money if you want to be in business for the long haul. And so what I mean is that instead of just focusing on the money that's coming in, or how much money you could potentially make down the road or next month or within the quarter, think about what your product is going to do for others. How is it going to serve others? How are you going to help the community? If you're a service-based entrepreneur or business, or maybe you're a nonprofit and your mission is to give back to the community, think about how it's going to impact the community. Thank you for the hearts. Think about how it's going to impact people in general, because your end goal is to stay in business. And I think if your product or service kind of resonates a little bit higher than you making money for your business, and of course that's important too, I think that's going to withstand your longevity in this game of business, if that makes sense. Okay, so that would be the second thing that I would touch on in regards to getting started, is to not so much have making money the focal point of why you're doing or why you're in business. Okay. All right. I took some notes because I didn't want to leave things out. Yes, that is so important, Gloria. Thank you for stating that. All right. Yeah.
Thank you, Gloria.
So when we're talking about today setting financial business goals in our business, when you sit down to set goals, a lot of people want to think bigger and broader, but I want to encourage business owners, entrepreneurs, network marketers to break that goal down, because it's going to be more attainable mentally and in the real life of your business in terms of reaching that goal. So for an example, say you're sitting down if you're a solopreneur, or maybe your team, and you state that you want, as the owner of the business, you want your business or your company to make $1 million. But unless you break that down to show how you can reach that mark, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense or sounds attainable, because that's a big number. $1 million is a big number, right? So what I would suggest is break that goal down into quarters. Okay, a lot of businesses run on quarters, about 3 months. So the first quarter, so break that. So you have about 4 quarters in the year, right? So break that $1 million down so that you can see in a smaller frame of meeting that goal. So now you're not trying to meet that $1 million goal or $100,000 goal or whatever your goal is. Now you're trying to meet it at a smaller amount, which is more attainable. You can break that down. You know your systems that you have in place to meet that goal, and so you achieve that goal every quarter, and then at the end of the year, you hopefully have meet or gotten close to your goal. So breaking that down and meeting it on a quarterly basis makes more sense to you, to your staff, and others that are helping you reach that goal, so that you can obtain your overall goal, which is to make your $100,000 or your $1 million. Okay, it's kind of like.
Now, how proactive? I'm gonna jump in on this one. How proactive do you have to be when you're setting those goals?
You have to be active. You have to set, and I was going to get into that too. I'm glad you asked that, Mika. You have to let your staff know. If you're working with a team, you have to let them know things that they can put in place before you get going. So for an example, if you want to, for example, increase your sales, okay, you have to put the steps in place so that your team can do the things in advance, proactively, to meet that goal. For an example, if you want to maybe do some social media ads, or you maybe want to do some Facebook Lives. If you're, maybe it's buying more product so that you can produce more or manufacture more. Maybe you need to buy more if you're in a manufacturing business and you need to buy supplies to build your items. Or if you're in a boutique setting or something like I am, and I purchase already made products, maybe it's buying more inventory to be prepared. So that it's kind of like the Oprah effect. If you've heard that before, you know how Oprah Winfrey, she gives out gifts, and so, or she'll promote your business or your product or service, and then all of a sudden your phone lines are just ringing off the hook because now everybody wants that product just because Oprah Winfrey mentioned it, or maybe she wore something or talked about your business or service. And so if you're not ready to meet that demand, because overnight you're going to be flooded or inundated with orders that you can't handle, so you have to have systems in place so that you can meet those goals. Okay, so that's planning and being proactive with yourself or with your team if you have a team. A lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners are out here by themselves, and so it's just them. They're wearing so many different hats. So find the time to map out and be proactive when it comes to trying to reach your goals. Okay. That also increases driving traffic too. If you're going to get online, you're going to do social media. That could be a way to increase your profits or increase your sales, is driving more traffic to your page or to your website, business website, things like that. Wherever you are, you want people to know where you are, but you have to be proactive and put the necessary tools in place so that you'll be prepared when they do come. Okay. I would like to continue talking. Those that are just joining us, I just want to say thank you for coming in and joining us today. I am being interviewed by Mika Dillard on her show, One Family News, Let's Talk. I appreciate you. Please stay tuned to the end of the broadcast. I have a free gift for all of you that are viewing here today on this special day, MLK Day. So I appreciate you guys. I want to talk about or continue our talk about setting financial business goals. Since this is the beginning of 2018, so this is a good time to be doing that. so that you're ready and prepared for 2018 and can meet your goals. Your goals should have focus on your infrastructure. Okay, that's your business structure. If you have teams in place, an accountant, or maybe you have a social media team, or and I'm talking more online, but this could also work for brick and mortars because you want to, as I was talking earlier, go online. But you maybe it's an accounting team to do your bookkeeping, someone to take phone calls. For customer service incoming calls. You want to have those things structured so that you can be profitable in the long term. A lot of people forget that piece. They want to just sell, but you have to, in order to meet your goals, as we're talking about setting financial business goals, you got to have your infrastructure sound so that you can operate functionally without having something happen and you don't have any backup or any way to fix the problem. So these things are all laid out before you go into business or you starting your business. A lot of people want to skip this part, but it's the most important part because if you don't build your foundation, your infrastructure, you're not going to stand very long. You're going to have to stop, go back, do it correctly, and come back. Okay. Also, branding yourself should also be a part of your goal setting because a lot of people are looking at your brand. They're looking at what is your business representing? And if you don't have a branding coach or if you don't know how to brand yourself, I would highly suggest that you invest in a branding coach, someone that can take your mission and your business name and take it to the next level and set it up properly so that your brand represents the core soul of your business. That's what branding is. Letting people know what it is that you represent, your business represent. And that includes your name of your business. All of that needs to reflect who or what your business are. If you are your business, okay, so say you're like a coach of some sort, your name has to reflect the core, the inner core of what you represent, what your values are, what your beliefs are. Okay, so if you are a brick and mortar store, boutique, or what have you, service provider, maybe you're a hairstylist, barber, dentist, attorney. I'm trying to kind of cover all the fields here. If you are an insurance agent, your brand needs to represent what's your business, what is the mission that you want to accomplish for your customers or potential customers, because people judge you by your brand. Okay, so you want to protect that at all costs. You want your name to reflect how you're going to serve. We're here to serve others. That's why we're in business, not only to make money, but to serve people, serve our community. And that goes across all boards, nonprofits, network marketers, service providers, industry leaders, community leaders, so forth and so forth. Just like schools, they have a brand, they have a motto, they have a mission statement that they make sure is intact, and they're following what they said they're going to be following. So that's very important. The other thing to go as far as making sure you have in place beyond the infrastructure and your brand is your customer service. I cannot stress this enough because that's how I started. When I was working my 9-to-5 years ago, I started early on, right out of high school, started working in the customer service field. And that customer service goes a long, long way. A lot of people, these days, it's getting out of touch because we have all this technology now. And it's becoming harder and harder to pick up the phone and get a human being. Okay, so back in the day, so we're going to go back in the day because that's how I was trained. We talk to customers. We talk to customers. So our new generation, and I love them because they keep me up on the technology. And I have a daughter in this new generation age where they're fine with just getting a bot through the, Facebook, what do you call that? Messenger. They're good with that. Yeah, as long as
The
they get some
messenger.
type of response, they're good. But that is not going to be all of your customers or clients. So you have to remember that we still have a generation that wants to speak with a human being. So take that into consideration when you're setting up your customer service infrastructure, if I can say it that way, so that you don't miss the ball or the mark with those customers, because they're clients too. So customer service is really, really huge, and beyond setting that up and being able to communicate to both to all generations, being responsive in a timely manner is a big part of customer service, because especially if there's a problem with a product or service, and your customers want to reach back out to you, get some questions answered, and even before, if they just have a question, being able to receive their call and respond in a timely manner is huge, because if they don't get a response, if your clients or potential customers aren't hearing from you or can't get through to you, you may have lost the deal. You may have lost
Hmm.
potential customers, which equates to money. Okay. Um, and you know how humans are. We go back and we tell others, well, I wasn't able to get through to them, and or they don't ever answer the phone, or they don't ever call back, and so that word of mouth is very powerful, and they'll go and tell their friends and family, and it's like a trickle down
Hmm.
effect. Okay. So
Yeah, in this day and age, all it takes is one person to say that they had, a bad experience, and then everyone else to seem to be
that's right.
following.
So you want to be cautious with that, and make sure that you're tuning in to your customers, you're responding, you're working with them, and even if you have to remember the old saying that customer is always right. Okay, because I grew up in that area, customers is always right, no
Hmm.
matter if they're wrong. Still try to appease them, if that means maybe giving out a free product, or a service, or having them come back, say, hey, I'll come back and do your hair for free, if things like that. Depending on what kind of business you are, find a way to compensate them if they're unsatisfied, because those customers, if they bought from you before, they're likely to buy from you again. Those are the easiest people to sell to, are previous customers. Okay, so you don't want to ruin the relationship, even if they are wrong. You want to keep the, and you're not, giving up your integrity or anything like that, but you just want to sever the relationship as best as possible, if that makes sense. Okay. Another goal setting agenda to keep in mind when you're building your business is, if you have a staff, you're working with a team, you want to always make sure they are aware of what you're doing. Okay. What kind of goals that you're trying to achieve,
Hmm.
because it's nothing like you being the boss and you're on one page and your whole team is on a whole nother page, and they're there to support you. So if you don't have everyone on the same page, it's hard for them to help you or assist you in the most effective manner. Okay. And then also, speaking of staff, reward your staff. Let them know that you are appreciative of their service, of their support, of their loyalty, because a lot of people, and we know this, if you've ever worked a 9 to 5 and you've worked hard and you've put in overtime, and your boss never says a word to you, or a thank you, or I appreciate you sticking around, I know it's after hours, blah blah blah. If you don't get that feedback from them, or that love from them, you don't really feel appreciated. You don't feel valued, and you feel you're just there for a paycheck. Even if you feel that that's all you're there for, you still want that love
Hmm.
kind of focus back on you, because we're giving all of our time. Our whole day is an 8-hour day. We spend a majority of our time in those 9 to 5s. And then our family comes second sometimes, especially if you're working a lot of overtime. So you want to feel appreciated where you're spending the most of your time. and that's at those jobs, right? Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
if you put all of these things into perspective, when it goes to or comes down to goal setting, your infrastructure, your brand, your customer service, getting feedback from your staff, that's going to help you meet your financial goals. Okay, so that's kind of like the back scene of setting financial goals that I wanted to talk about before I get into more hands-on um, goal setting objectives that you can meet. If anyone has any questions, I don't know if Mika wants you to hold off on them or.
Well, if you have any questions, please feel free to
Yeah,
post
well,
them. Martine is here to answer any questions that you all
yeah.
may have out there. So please feel free to ask any question, as many questions as
Okay,
you
great.
like.
Thank you. For those that are just coming in, let's just take a break and kind of backstep and just say what's going on, let them know what's going on. My name is Martine Quartey. I've been invited on Mika Diller's show, 1.1 Family News. Let's talk. So, I am an entrepreneur, travelpreneur, business owner. I am the creator of our Back to Our Roots tour, Ghana, West Africa. You guys see my necklace, Ghana, West Africa? And the founder and creator of the Entrepreneur Show on my business Facebook page. And I'm also a live streaming coach. I help small businesses and entrepreneurs increase their profits in their business with the help of live streaming. Okay, entrepreneurs, small business, service providers, network marketers, you have it, you name it, live streaming is the way to go. And so I help them increase their profits with that. So what we're talking about today is setting financial business goals. And I've just gone over some I would call back office things that you need to set up prior to going into business. In terms of meeting your financial goals so that you can make money in your business. Now I want to talk about, if I can, some hands-on ways of meeting your business financial goals. Those entrepreneurs, small business owners, network marketers, you want to make money in your business, right? So you've got to know how to set it up correctly. And I just want to put this tidbit in here right now so that I don't forget it. If there's anything or any place in your business where you lack the expertise, because I'm going to get into that, please go get someone that can help you. Invest in yourself, invest in your business. If you are not great in accounting, I'll use that as an example. That's my strong point. Find an accountant, hire an accountant. You'll be doing your business and yourself a disservice. It's nothing like having being an unhappy business owner and you're not making money in your business. Because if you're not making money in your business, are you really in business? So don't skimp in these areas where you lack. If you're wanting to and 10x your social media presence and you don't know a thing about how to leverage that, how to leverage social media and be out here on these Facebook lives and YouTube lives and Instagram lives, find or hire, and I talked about this in another previous video that I did, hire someone, a brand strategist or a social media strategist, someone, there's plenty out there. Start following them on Facebook, get to know who they are, see if it's a good fit for you and them. But hire them so that they can help you in your business. Don't struggle through this. Don't try to learn this on your own, because 9 times out of 10, you could have 10x your business within the next month or so, but no, it's going to take you 6 months because you're trying to learn and do it yourself to save pennies. And I would say that's not a smart way to leverage that. All right, so let's get into some hands-on ways of meeting our business goals. A little bit of background about me before I get started. Beyond being entrepreneur, travelpreneur, and all that stuff, business owner, I have a bachelor's degree in accounting, or business management rather. So that hits all of the aspects when it comes to business, the accounting, the tax, the marketing, et cetera, et cetera. And then I also have a master's degree in education. So I think, and I was just telling Mika when we were talking, that those two combinations kind of work hand in hand for me, because I not only know how a business should be set up and how it should be ran and how to keep the books and know when things don't look right, because I have the skills, the background, the teachings. I also can turn around and teach people how to do the same thing. So I'm blessed in that way, that I turned my or 10x my education and put that education spin on it, because now I can train people how to do it. And I'm currently an instructor at one of the local colleges here too. So I'm always teaching. And so I keep that training going, and there's always new ways to reach people and teach people. So just wanted to let you guys know that if you're in school and you're an entrepreneur, I would say stay in school, get your degrees, because I'm telling you, it helps you. And not that you can't be successful without being in school or having a degree, but if you are, and you're seeing a lot of people out here in business, and they're making money, and you're trying to get it done, and you're in school, stay in school. Go ahead and finish the journey, because you never know how that's going to affect you down the road. So I wouldn't, a lot of people want to just get it done real fast. They want to make this fast money, get their business built, and and they don't have schooling behind them. And that's fine if you don't. If it works for you, you can get the right training and the right people on your team to increase your profits and meet those goals. That's great. But if you're in school, I would say stay in school and finish. You don't have to drop out and try to take the expressway to millionaire status, because that background and education will benefit you. I promise you. All right. So.
And just to add to that too, network while you're in school. While you're in school, getting that bachelor's degree, master's degree, or whatever degree that you're going for, network with your other classmates, because 9 times out of 10, the person sitting to your left or to your right probably want to start a business themselves, but they don't know how. So reach out, network, your community, your instructors. That's what they're there for. They're educators, but they're also there to help you reach your ultimate goal.
I truly believe that, Meek. I'm glad you mentioned that, because you never know when you might have to go back to those instructors. They may turn around and be one of your clients. That's happened to me, because I'm still in the college space. I'm on campus, and I've turned previous classmates and instructors into customers with one of my businesses. So it works, and you never know. They may be able to give you, like you said, additional information or resources. And speaking of resources, relationships is the best resource you can have, because those people are going to help you get to your next level. So I strongly encourage building relationships so that you can tap into those resources when you need it. All right, so let's get into some of the hands-on ways because we're talking about setting financial business goals. And one thing with my background in accounting, this resonates with me, and so I love talking about it, because this is so important, is the money. So the first thing is increasing revenues. Okay, we are in business to make money. So one way to meet our financial goals, whether that be you want to make $100,000 by the end of the year, or $1 million, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. Increasing your revenues, and it doesn't mean that you have to increase the units that you sell. Say you're a boutique, or you're a service provider. Maybe you do hair. I talked about those types of business. You're a coach and you're selling coaching packages.
I think you froze on me, Martine. You're freezing up on me.
Okay, I think we're back. Good.
Okay, there you go.
Increasing your prices is one way to increase your revenue. You don't have to sell 50 units. Why don't you just raise your prices, and that way you're reaching your financial goals, still selling your units, but you're kind of 10xing it because you're raising your prices. So a lot of people kind of skip that step, think, oh, I need to sell more, I need to get more clients in, when in all actuality, you could really tweak that and get to your financial goals or reach them by just increasing your prices. Also, understanding your analytics. Okay. It's when you're an online business, it's becoming more and more easier to do that, especially with technology. Maybe, for an example, if you're trying to reach more people on your social medias. Now, Facebook and Instagram, they have an analytics page. If you have a business page, there's an analytics page where you can go and look at how you're reaching your clients, when you're reaching your potential clients or customers or viewers, how you are, when are they watching? Because all those things you can take into consideration when you're trying to increase your online presence. So I'll use that as an example. So if you are a person that doesn't really know how to read analytics, again, that's your weak spot. Find someone that can do that for you. Okay, hire someone, because that is the brain of your business. If you cannot read your analytics, and what I mean by analytics is the information that's coming in that tells you how your business is doing financially. Or for an example, we're talking about reaching more people. If you're an online business and you're trying to reach more people and engage or increase your reach, if you don't know how to read when people are coming in, or are able to interpret that information, where are they coming from, things like that, it's going to be very difficult for you to improve what you're trying to do. And so you need to really focus on that, or bring someone in that can interpret that information, and so that you can 10x your business. Another thing is that if you're trying to increase your profits and you're having problems, what you could do is research your industry. Go online. Google is my best friend. I love Google. If you guys should be using Google to research, do research on your business. You can't just be in business and be out there and just selling and not understanding your industry and how well others in your industry are doing, your competition, how they're doing things, how are they increasing engagement, how are they able to meet their financial goals. You have to understand if there's something going on in your industry and the trends, that you may need to go back to the drawing board and refigure out or tweak. You need to know what's going on so that you can go back and fix the problem, so that you can stay in business, because we're in business to make money. And if you're not making money, are you really in business? I say that all the time. Yeah, right. I say that all the time. Gwendolyn, asking a question.
Let me just add in one thing too, Martine. If you know that you are not the research person, make sure you have someone on your team that's good at research. Make sure that you invest in that asset, because you want to see a business sink real fast. That's a good way to, that's a great example.
Absolutely.
You will sink before you see. You do not invest in bringing people on your team that has the same goal in mind that you
Absolutely.
have.
And then the other thing with increasing your revenues, as we talked about, maybe increasing prices instead of trying to sell more units. We talked about researching your industry so you can tweak something that might not be going as well anymore. Feedback from your staff. In businesses, when I was in corporate America, we would be doing all the work, and then all of the bosses, supervisors, managers, CFOs, and all those people would be making the decisions, but they hardly ever come out to the people that are actually on the front lines, that are serving the customers and answering questions, asking them what their feedback or their input is as to why we're not getting as many sales this month or reaching our goals this quarter. It's very important that you tap into those minds. So those are your people that are running your business in all actuality. You're keeping it afloat by setting up their infrastructure, making sure they're trained, but they're the ones getting the brunt of the calls, if you will. Like I said, I have a long history of customer service, so I can speak from this, because we are on the front line. we're getting those what they call high scale calls where the customer is irate, and we have to kind of reduce the escalation of the call and try to bring the customer down so that we can communicate with them, because it's really hard to talk with them and get them to realize things when they're upset. So when your high management doesn't communicate with you or ask you for your feedback, sometimes that information could be effective in terms of restructuring things or doing things differently that management can take into consideration when they're down and then renegotiating some of their processes. So if you have a team, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner out there, and you have a team that you work with, tap into their minds and their brains, sit down and have a talk with them, ask them, how's things going? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing because I'm not answering the phones, or I'm not doing this or that? What are you seeing that I need to know that's causing this particular problem, whatever problem it may be? Because that's where your information is going to come from. That's the jewel of how you can fix problems head on, because you're not in the trenches with your customers, with your staff when receiving those incoming calls or concerns or what have you from your customers or clients. So I think that's real huge. A second part of as a hands-on way to increase profits or increase your we're talking about setting financial goals or meeting your financial goals, is decrease costs. Now, I had to learn this the hard way because I jumped out here and we started, when we're setting up our business, we're spending money here and there. We want to have this and we want to have that, and it's and no, you don't have to have everything to get started. So we're spending money left and right and left. So I want to encourage small business entrepreneurs to map out what you need to get started as opposed to what you want. So we're talking about controlling costs, okay? Because we spend a lot of money on websites. That's one of the big things that people want to jump out to. Oh, I need a website like right now, like yesterday. Websites are expensive. So you have to be ready for this. Unless you got your cousin, that's good at that and that can make that for you on pennies on the dollar, then that's great. As long as it comes out great and it's what you want. But most times we have to hire someone, so it's expensive. So kind of control your costs by not jumping into things that you don't necessarily need right now. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Reducing utilities. Like if you have a brick and mortar, one of my businesses is a brick and mortar, and so I have to pay utilities and overhead like the rent. And so if there's a way to, depending on your lease agreement with your landlord at your business, the space that you're renting, if there's a way to reduce utilities, think of those ways, or if you can leverage some of the cost of the rent. Some people bring in other businesses to share the space with them. That's a way to reduce costs. You have to think creatively, especially when you're first starting off. You don't want to spend a lot of money too fast because you're just trying to get the money in from customers by selling your product or serving, if you're a service provider, servicing your customers. So you don't want to just like jump in too fast without knowing what kind of money is going to actually be coming in. And even if you're already down that road and you've been in business for a little bit and you're finding that you need to you're wanting to decrease costs, think about sharing spaces or bringing someone else in that that you can share space with that complements your product and service. You can do it that way too. Negotiating better contracts. Sometimes, and I say that, I think of maybe online coaches. If you're out, maybe you're a speaker, okay, and you coach online, but you also go out and speak, right? Sometimes those contracts that you sign off on, when people want to come hear you speak, maybe it doesn't include airfare. That's a big cost when you're flying around and you're speaking. speak that into existence. Ask them,
Mm-hmm.
can you include my airfare? Because a lot of times we're signing off because we're so excited. Oh, I got a speaker engagement. They want me to come. They want me to come speak. And you're not thinking about, those kind of things when you're negotiating your contract, because they'll tell you what all they're covering. Maybe they're covering your hotel and food. But that airfare is a huge piece too. That's a big, dollar sign in your pocketbook. So add that in the contract.
That's a large dollar sign.
add that to your contract. But you have to ask. If they don't include that, ask them. You never know. They might just go ahead and do that. So that's, so I just say, just take the time, read your contract, think about things that are going to affect your pocket that are not included in that contract, so that you can keep your costs down. Because that's one way to that's a part of your financial goals. Because when you're spending money, that's less money you have at the end of the year, right? Let me jump into, I had a lot more, but we got about 10 minutes left. And I want to answer some questions too. Debt service management, real quick. I like this because my background started when I was working a 9-to-5 in the credit industry. Okay. And so as a business, we sign up for a credit card so we can pay for things, right? Buy things that we need for our business, etc. So when you have credit cards and you have credit card debt, one way to reduce your costs is to keep those balances low. Okay. And by the way, speaking about keeping those balances low, it also keeps or increases your credit score too. When you're not spending more, the majority of your credit line on things that you need for your business. So leveraging that aspect of keeping your good credit score in mind in the back of your head. At a certain point when you're spending that credit line all the way up to the credit line, a lot of people they max their credit cards out. That's what we say. My card is maxed. Believe it or not, your credit score does go down because they don't. The trick to that is keeping that amount, that balance under a certain percentage. Okay, you don't want to max your cards. Okay,
You don't want to max your card.
That will definitely hit your credit score. And if you are in love with your credit score like I am, you don't want to do that. So pay the balances down. Keep that in the back of your mind. Get your bookkeeper to help you focus on that. If you have a team, someone that can watch that carefully for you. And just because you have a credit card doesn't mean you have to buy the world. Buy what you need. Spend what you need. Don't spend more than you bring back in. That's what we say. All right. You can ask for a better rate too, better interest rate on those cards. Look for interest-free bearing transfer balance cards. They have those promotions because all these companies, credit card companies, want your business, so they'll offer an interest-free balance transfer. I've done that before, and I've moved that balance to an interest-free card and tried to pay that card down as fast as possible to take advantage of that interest, that free interest. Also, let me jump into cash flow real quick, if I can, Mika. Cash flow planning.
Yeah, we have right now. You're kicking out some good information, sister. So I tell you, if you need the extra 5 or 10 minutes,
all right,
just go for it.
Cash flow planning. Track your money. I have a special nickname. I call myself Track Everything. If somebody asks me, what's your name? It's called Track Everything. I'm so serious because, and it's easy for me to do that because my background is in business, and my best friend is Excel spreadsheets, especially with taxes. I love doing taxes, and I have clients. And I love when they bring me their information, and some people kind of shy away or they run away from it because they don't like all the paperwork, all the numbers that come with it. But when you're tracking everything, you can leverage whether you're going to get a refund or you owe. So if I can use tax preparation as an example of what I mean, being a business owner of we have a lot of expenses, and I was going to talk about that too. we have a lot of expenses we can deduct. But if you're not tracking, if you're not keeping receipts, you don't have a system in place where, because it's not one thing to just like put your receipts in a shoebox or something. I have like truck drivers that'll come to me, you know, when during their taxes, and they just want to throw me a shoebox full of receipts, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, are we really going to do this again? So I try to train them on how to keep a spreadsheet or something to list this out, so you know we're not spending an hour trying to just organize things. We can just get right into the tax return and get your return prepared. But tracking and using tools, there's so many tools, great tools out there. Excel spreadsheet, there's some business software. I'm drawing a blank right now, one that escapes me. But there's so many tools out there. And if you guys know what I mean, you're business owners and you're using some of these tools, go ahead and put them down in the comments so people can know. Yeah. But tracking your income and your expenses using these tools can help your business life. It'll make your accountant happy if you're not the accountant. Okay. And because that's my background, I'm my own accountant. And so if you're using an accountant or a bookkeeper, you don't have an account, you don't have to have an accountant. You can just get a bookkeeper that can do that for you. That would make their life so much easier if you were just tracking everything in a manner that they can just run through the spreadsheet. Here's the totals, because you can put the formula, build the formulas in the Excel spreadsheets. It gives you the totals just like that. All you have to do is just enter the information and it totals up automatically. It will save a world of time when you're doing something like that. And so the bottom line is that you have to track your money. You don't know how much money you're making in your business. You don't know your numbers. That's going to hurt you, because you could be in the hole. You're thinking, oh man, I just made $10,000 last month or whatever. Or I just sold over the weekend, I just sold $2,000 worth of coaching packages. But until you go back and see how much you spent to do that, you don't know if you're making money or not. You really don't. You know, You're looking at all the money coming in, but let's go back and look at how much we spent this month too. In totality, everything, overhead, everything. If you have overhead, if you're a brick and mortar, you have overhead expenses. How much was the rent that month? How much did you get cable that month for the first time? Did you need internet, right? You have to process payments, credit card payments. You need the internet or something to come through. Did you have to buy buy a new cell phone? More and more we're having to buy cell phones more often just to keep up with the technology. So think about those things when you're trying to track your money. That's going to give you a quick snapshot of what's really going on, and you can do that. You can get a bird's eye view month to month if you want. If you want to see what you're doing from month to month. And it also helps cash flow problems, because sometimes we run short. If you're really sticking to the budget and not borrowing from your personal account, like some of us start off, we start off and we borrow from somewhere else in our life of income. If you're tracking your money, that helps with cash flow problems, because you know how much is going to be expended out and you know how much is coming in. So that kind of eliminates some of those cash flow problems that small businesses and entrepreneurs have in their journey with their business.
So what is your take on mixing your personal
That's a
with
great
your
question,
business?
Mika, and I would not suggest that at all. It happens. So if we want to be real about it, it does happen when you mix your personal and your business. Sometimes you're out of money in your business and you need an emergency, something that you need in your business right now, and you do dip into your personal account. But what I would say, as far as tracking the money, keep your business account separate from your personal account. You need to have two separate accounts. If you have two businesses, you have two different business accounts, and then on top of that, you have your personal account. Do not mix the money. I understand that you might need to borrow from here and there to make things happen. It happens. And if that's way you need to flow, that's the way you need to flow
Mm-hmm.
so you can stay in business. But do not mix that money as far as tracking it, because like I'll go back to the accountant. They're not going to be a happy accountant if you spent some of the business money. You bought things in your personal account that was for your business, and you bought things for your business from your business. So now they have to go to two different bank accounts, try to pull the records, skim through the personal account to pull out all the business purchases and expenses. And that's a nightmare for an accountant. I know. I know, because I see them
Mm-hmm.
every year. I see this, and if they're not bringing in the records, then those are the kind of things that happens when you're trying to sit down and prepare, for example, their taxes. So I would not. I would
Separate
highly
from
encourage you, business owners, entrepreneurs, network marketers, when you're spending money for your business, do not purchase it from your personal account. Move the money. Here's one thing I did. Move the money. If I
Mm-hmm.
need to buy, let's see, okay, I have a brick and mortar. I like to use that one. That's easy to talk about. I need to buy $200 worth of merchandise. I've got a big weekend coming up. I'm going to do some vending opportunities out in the public, and I need to get some product in here, some merchandise. But I don't have the $200 in my bank, in my business bank account, but I have it in my personal account. Move the money over to your business account. Transfer it. You can do it lickety split on your phone. Transfer the money, because what you're trying to do, even though you're using your personal
Mm-hmm.
money to fund your business, and that's okay, because we have to start somewhere. You have to start where you are. But as far as tracking,
Yeah.
your business expenses will be coming from your business account. It doesn't. It does. Sorry about that.
You
Okay, it
cut out
doesn't
a little
matter.
bit.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, you're
Okay, it
back.
doesn't matter where the money is coming from, but you want those expenses to be coming from your business account so you can account for them. So your accountant can account for them at the end of the year or end of the month, or however, quarterly, however you go back and look at things. Does that make sense, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That makes
Okay.
100% sense. Is everybody out there understanding what Martine is saying? If you're not, please
Mm-hmm.
ask questions. That's what she's
Right.
here for. Pick her
Right. Yes.
brain.
Pick my brain.
So, Martine, I just have a question myself. When it comes to trying to raise money for to get your startup, what are some other options that are available to you when it comes to trying to start your business and looking at the financial resources that are
Mhm.
out there?
One thing that I did was I used my money that I was making from my 9 to 5, because I built my businesses while I was working. I built two businesses simultaneously while I was still working. And so I used the money that I was making from my 9 to 5 to fund my business. My husband and I, we really didn't want to go the traditional route by taking out loans. And a lot of people start that way, and that's fine. But if you're really trying to be cautious about the debt, because my husband, he's a real, he doesn't like a lot of debt. I'll just put it like that. So we use our personal funding to start our businesses. But for others, you may have to take out loans, business loans. I would say tap into Small Business Administration, SBA, to look and see if they have assistance, financial assistance for budding entrepreneurs, people, small business owners that wanting to start a business. There's a lot of help out there. There's grant money out there if you're a nonprofit and you're trying to get off the ground. And it's just, nonprofits are just like any other business. There's things, there's expenses that have to be met in order to get started as a nonprofit. And so the Small Business Administration can help you out in that instance, with maybe getting you in touch with some resources that can help you financially, whether that be a small loan. A lot of small business organizations do that. SBA, they'll even give you a small loan, or they will tap you into resources that give grants. look into your community, locate your SBA in your community. They are a wealth of knowledge and resource for you, for small business entrepreneurs that are trying to get started in their journey with operating and running their business. And then ask around. You never know who knows what. Like you had mentioned, Mika, earlier about networking. That is where you learn the game. Go to networking. I go to a ton of networking events because you go out, you meet people, you meet other business owners, entrepreneurs. Ask them how they got started financially. You never know what people know until you ask them. So those are the places where you find out all your information of how to get started, where to find money to get started, et cetera, et cetera. And then, they could also turn out to be potential customers of your potential customers and clients as well. And then vice versa. I met my web designer at a networking event. I turned out to be, his customer, and then of course, I'm going to turn it around and bring that money back in because it cost me a little bit for that website. But he'll potentially be, hopefully be a customer of mine. You just never know.
Okay. Well, we have about 5 minutes now, and I want to open up the floor for questions for Miss Martine Quer, who is an entrepreneur, travelpreneur, and businesswoman of multiple businesses. She owns multiple businesses. So I want to open up the floor to those right now if you have any questions.
I see a question from Gloria. She says, how does someone improve their public speaking ability to better promote their business as I'm doing? And both Mika and I are doing the number one thing that's that's going on right now. That is the it thing. And that's Facebook Live or Instagram Live or wherever it's live, YouTube Live, Periscope. Get on live streaming. I talked about this earlier. If you're a little shy, maybe you've never done public speaking before, I would say maybe if you are I'll go back to like church. I taught Sunday school for a long time, so that's where I really started doing my public speaking in front of my class, in front of the congregation. Start where you are. Leverage opportunities or atmospheres that you have right now. If you're have a church setting that you can talk, have the opportunity to speak in, or maybe your networking event. I know some of my networking events, they give entrepreneurs, business owners about 2 minutes to do their, what I call 2-minute elevator pitch, and talk about their businesses and where and what they sell and where they can buy it from, right? Use those little spaces to build your confidence, because when you speak more, you're going to build your confidence. And then you can branch out to maybe doing it live on social media. If you want to just jump in, if you're that person that's gutsy and you just want to jump in, get on Facebook, get on Periscope. Periscope is a really great way because nobody's over there anyway that that know you. I will put it like that. For an example, if you're really just trying to train and just kind of practice, Periscope is the way to go because your viewers aren't over there because they don't know that you're there. So you could just be talking to foreigners from across the world, Australia or something, but you don't care because you don't know them anyway and they don't know you. Because a lot of people we're conscious because my friends will see me and I don't want them to see me make a fool of myself or stumble or what have you. But so I would say use platforms where you don't have your audience at to practice. And then as you get better and better, you can come back over to where your audience is. If your audience is on Facebook, you can come back to your Facebook audience and then start live streaming from there.
And to caveat off of you, Martine, I'm a journalist. And so for me, just pressing the record button on my camera and just talking to myself is a great way. Yes, it's a great way to increase your public speaking skills. So just press the record button, on your camera and just start talking. Start talking to yourself. And then when you play it back,
That's right. That was enough.
and then when you play it back, then you'll know exactly how
Right.
you did and how you sound. So you
That's
can just
right, Meek.
keep
I'm glad
working
you
on it.
mentioned that because that's another way that I got my more experience live streaming or just streaming, period. I'm a YouTube girl. And so I have a YouTube channel under Traveling Sister. And so and the focus on that channel is all of my trips to Ghana, West Africa. And I want to just talk about that before we end too, really quick. So when I would travel to Ghana, I don't know, all of a sudden, because I love the country, my husband's from Ghana, he's a Ghanaian, so that's the connection. And so when we would travel, I fell in love with the country, everything I saw, and I wanted to, being a teacher, I wanted to share my knowledge and my experiences with others. And so I started videotaping. This was before live streaming was a thing. And so I would video record myself, and I would just automatically turn into this interviewer, like a news anchor interviewer or something. And it was the funniest thing because it seemed like it came natural. And I would do my research, and I think it's because I have the teacher background, and we do our research so that we can communicate or the information out correctly and accurately. And so I would do all my research, and then I would push the record button and start videotaping and recording and talking about Ghana and talking about what I have here, what I'm going into an art show. These are all the pretty dresses. These are all the nice bracelets. Here's food, the lovely food that, Ghana sits on the Atlantic Ocean. They are known for eating fresh fish, the healthiest thing. These people are healthy and blah, blah, blah. And I would go crazy. We would go into the park. They have a national park with a canopy, and we would walk. I'd record with the camera in hand. I'm a million feet above the sea level, but I'm recording still. And so because it fascinated me, and I wanted to share that because we're in Mother Africa, so not everybody can go here. And so I wanted to make sure that I could share a piece of my experience with others. And so I would just turn into this interviewer, push the button, and then I uploaded to YouTube videos. And so that's how I started getting more and more comfortable in front of the camera, like you said, just pushing the record button and recording. That's the way you jump in and get it done and get your experience behind you and get over your fears.
I have one last question for you, Martine. How important is it for our sisters and brothers out there to think about becoming entrepreneurs?
It is highly important. I talk about this all the time, and even for our children too. We're their role models, so they're watching us. But to be an entrepreneur means to be in control. When I was in my 9-to-5, I was not in control of my day. I wasn't in control of when I could leave or come or go to lunch, or in some cases, in some people's jobs, even to excuse themselves to go to the restroom would be a challenge. Sometimes maybe if you're like a teacher or something, and you're in the classroom, you can't just get up and go when you need to or want to. But that was the whole thing for me, was that I've worked so long, and I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always known that long ago, early in my life. But that was the most important aspect of my life that I wanted back, was that I wanted to be in control. And you're not in control when you're working for someone else, but you are in control when you're working for yourself. And then the financial aspect of that too is that I didn't want to be limited with my income. Okay. And when you're working for someone, you're limited. You can't say, well, I want to make $100,000 this year, or I want to make $200,000 this year working for your company. That's not going to happen. They're going to tell you how much your job is worth, how much you're worth. I'm worth much more than what they sign on my paycheck. But that's what they're going to pay you. And I don't care how much overtime you want to try to work, how much overtime is available, because I used to be an overtime junkie. I would be in there, but remember, the more money you make, the more money you're going to be taxed on. So overtime, it does help bring in more money, but you're going to kill yourself at the end, because now you're tired and you got to be back at this place the next day. You're not giving time to your family. If you're raising kids, or if you have a spouse at home, they're going to they're gonna feel neglected, and it becomes a hamster wheel type effect where you're just kind of chasing the dollar. You're gonna have bills you're always gonna pay, and it just never goes away. But when you're in control of your finances by being your own boss, entrepreneur, business owner, you have the ability to 10x your business and make the kind of money that you want. And that's on your watch. It's up to you when you're a business owner. Don't think it's going to just be easy. You are going to have to put in the work, but it's going to be work that you value because it's your own business. It's your baby. That business is your baby. So you're going to work hard. I put in more hours now than I ever have ever working for anyone, because it's my baby. And if it doesn't grow, it's my fault. When I move, it moves. So if I'm sitting idle, nothing's happening. I got to be working, whether if it's online business, you're constantly, at the computer and you're making things happen online, or if you're a brick and mortar and you're going to the business to open up the doors, or maybe you're hiring someone to go and open up the doors for you. If you're not moving, your business is not moving. So that was my thing about everyone that has the ability to have a business and be their own boss. When I went to Ghana, West Africa, I would say 80% of the people around were entrepreneurs. We have to go back to our roots. We have to understand and do your research. Go back and learn how African Americans, and I'm speaking to African Americans specifically now, our ancestors were kings and queens. They were entrepreneurs. They didn't work for anybody but themselves. And when I go to Ghana, that was the first thing I saw, was all of these Ghanaians, all of these Black people, our people out here working hard, and they're selling anything, everything. Maybe it's a fruit stand. They're growing fruits and vegetables in the village, and they bring them back to the streets, to the marketplaces. They're selling clothing. They're selling every item, toothbrush, everything. And if you ever been to other countries, there's the panhandling is very, very strong. You can be in your car and driving, and the panhandlers come and knock on the door. Those are entrepreneurs. They knock on your window. Can I clean your windows for $5? In Ghana, they're called cedis. Their currency is called cedi. Ghana cedis. Can I clean your windows? Any way that they can make money, they're going to go after it. So that's embedded in them. Entrepreneurship is embedded in them, and it's also embedded in each and every one of you. So if you have a quality product, service, the information that's in your head, if you're educated, you know how to do something. Maybe you're an accountant. Maybe you are a brand, you know how to brand businesses or market. Market is a whole nother level of getting your business exposed. If you have expertise, or maybe it comes naturally to you. Some gifts come naturally to you from God. You need to 10x that and turn around and learn how to monetize and make money from it. These days with the technology, there's no reason why you can't go into business. It doesn't cost as much money now to go in business when you can just hit the go live button on Facebook or wherever and start promoting your business. I'm telling you, we had a product.
And Martine, that's why that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. It is to help those, those entrepreneurs. I may have a larger audience than you have. So by doing Facebook Lives such as this one, you can tap into my audience, and I can tap into your audience as well. So you have to look at the different resources that are out there.
Absolutely.
And use them.
This engagement that we're getting right now, after we're finished here live, there'll be multiple people that'll watch this video. And so it'll get more and more exposure. It'll just keep going and going and going. So this is one way to leverage and get your product out there as a live stream, or get your service out there. Or maybe you have a mission. You're a nonprofit and you want to take a group to Ghana, West Africa, or wherever. Get on Facebook Live. You can reach a multitude of people this way in a moment's time. So leverage the technology, like you said, Mika, to increase your profit sales, to increase or setting your goals and meeting your financial yearly goals at the end, and do the things you want to do. You want a vacation, you have a family, you want to take your kids. You always want to take them to Disneyland or Disney World or wherever, but you never could get the time off. And that was the other thing about working 9 to 5. And I'm putting out a book too about leaving at 9 to 5. That was the other thing.
Okay.
Vacation time. Most jobs give you 2 weeks, right? Or if you've been there, 10 years, you get a third week. If I'm going to Ghana, West Africa, I need 2 weeks minimum at that one time, that one vacation. I'm wiped out. I'm wiped out if I do that. And so that's why I go back to saying I don't like to be limited. That's just the mindset that I have. And others need, you have that, you feel that way too, but you just don't know how to break free of that 9 to 5. But it just comes from planning, getting around like-minded people, get to these network events where people think like you. You're never going to be able to think outside the box necessarily until you get around people that feel the same way you feel, think the way you think. Because a lot of times we're sabotaged by our friends that don't have the vision like we have. I'm a visionary, and so if you're around people that don't have your vision, your friends or your around you, maybe your spouse, they don't have that vision. It could be your spouse too, that doesn't have that vision. Network marketers, trying to get the yes, they're trying to get that sale, and they're trying to get people to say yes, but they're around all these negative people or people that just don't get it or don't see the vision. You have to find the people that say yes. You have to get around the people that think like you so that you can get that person to say yes, and so that you can sell them your product or service.
Okay. Well, viewers, that's all the time that we have today for One Family News. Let's talk. And we're going to end with Martine telling you all how you can get in touch
I'm
with her.
on most of the social medias under Martine Quartey, Martine, Quartey, Quartey. On Facebook, I have a Facebook business page as well, so look for that too. Instagram, Periscope, and Twitter, all under Martine Quartey. And I have a free gift for you guys too. Thank you for sticking out the entire broadcast. If you go to Linktree/Martine Quartey, there I have a free guide to setting financial business goals. So you can download that free guide by going to Linktree. It's linktr.ee/Martine Quartey. Linktree/Martine Quartey, and download the free setting financial goals guide. That is my free gift to you guys, entrepreneurs and small business owners, network marketers.
And for all my viewers that are out there, I will put that link in the comments below. So once we log off, you can go into log into that link and get your free gift.
All right.
And Martine, I want to thank you so much for coming on my show today. You are a wealth of information, and I hope to have you back on my show again soon to talk about all the many things that are part of your expertise. And
thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the viewers. You guys have a profitable day. Let's make that money. Bye-bye.
Make that money.